But when Ash was little, he really dug Sesame Street and Muppets. I could watch that stuff all day. If my son, God bless you, had wanted to watch Teletubbies,
right,
or Barney, I would have,
yeah,
I just couldn't do it.
Keep it going for Rob and Ash Paulsen. Take the middle two, because we got you framed for murder.
My wife, Ash's mom, how funny how that works, isn't it? Really wants to see this because it's the first time we've gotten to do this together. So, would you mind videoing this, Alana?
We are actually videotaping it right there.
Oh, well,
so
even better.
No offense, you'll get this next one when I'm 100.
We just ask that you don't jump out of your seat and run because tracking that's a pain.
Well, can you guys hear us okay?
Testing,
Hi,
testing.
I'm Rob Paulsen.
Yes, you want to use the microphone so that your wife, his mom, can hear as well. You definitely want to use the microphones.
Are they on though? I don't. Unless we just have to.
Kind of on.
Kinda. Hello, hello. Kinda.
Hello. Can you?
We have technical assistance.
Cool. That's all right. Yeah. I need technical assistance brushing my teeth these days. So. Oh, that's better. Great.
Hello, hello. There we
Hi.
go. Much better.
Well, like I was saying, hi. My name is Rob Paulsen.
And I'm Ash Paulsen.
And together we're cops. Firstly, on behalf of my sweet boy and me, we are really grateful that you folks have taken the time to come visit with us because many of you are parents, and it is a really special thing to be able to work with your baby boy.
Yeah.
His middle name is Huey,
You might want to.
Oh, I'm getting somebody's
Put
at
that
my
on
front
silent.
door.
Yeah.
Oh, it's the IRS again. Just
Better
leave your ticket, Larry. I'll call you.
Better you than me.
Yeah. Oh boy.
Yeah.
But it is a really big deal for me, and I hope my son to do this.
Absolutely.
And so thank you for sharing this with us. On a larger note, gratitude writ large, I promise, let my boy speak, but were it not for all of you, dead serious, I wouldn't be able to put braces on my kids' teeth. I wouldn't have been able to buy food. I wouldn't have been able to take them to school, private school. So I owe y'all pretty much everything for giving me an opportunity to do a job which I would do for free. And it's just a remarkable thing to get to this age and have a legacy of characters that turn out to be way more important than my paycheck to people. And I would not have known that were it not for the ubiquity of these great events. So thank you for that. But
I hope no one from Disney or Cartoon Network or anyone's watching because you said you'd do it for free.
Yeah, I know.
So,
see, that's why my kid went to college.
Yeah.
I didn't. Anyway, that is all to say on behalf of his old man, we had a lovely life as a result of your largesse. So thank you. Now follow that, Hotshot.
Well, well, first of all, yeah. Well, and I can say for a completely different reason, I've been lucky enough to, I do usually gaming, the gaming convention circuit, because that's where I work, is in the game industry. And, I'm lucky enough to have worked for a previous YouTube channel and now have my own business that, we've got like 130,000 subscribers or so. And we're steadily growing. But the main thing is, I'm childless. I'll assuredly always be childless, but despite the fact that I don't have to worry about, putting braces on my kids' teeth or anything, I've talked to my dad about this before, and it is a genuine privilege to have people care about what you do and say and what you're doing in general, because I know we're all busy. We all have crap going on in our daily lives, so to have people actually care what you
take time
about what you do, like you all are here, it's a genuine privilege. So I feel the same way, just under different auspices, but yeah, no, thank you all so much for being here.
Pleasure, really. Privilege, honestly. Let me put it this way. I'm looking forward to talking with you guys, and we'll Q&A this, but I really, one of the things that makes this so special for me is to, and you get all the credit, honey, is to know what a fine young man my wife raised, and I facilitated.
I'm all right.
Yeah, you're all right.
Yeah.
But Ash being a gamer, I mean, expert gamer, they got him, I mean, produced games, produced an animated show in which I was in called
Bravo Man. That was so much
all
fun.
Of which are available. Yeah,
still one of the most wonderful things I've ever done
Great
in
fun.
my life. God, it was so fun.
But Parrish, his mom, my wife, had the foresight to let him do his thing, which was game. And he would get home with his work and still get 4-point grades. And I'd come home sometimes. I said, what the hell's his story? She said, well, he's done his homework. And boy, was she right. So now, has he not only had a significant background in the gaming industry and got his degree in journalism and is a bona fide game journalist, I just want to tee this up for you because I never knew until I spoke to Ash, and I don't even remember how it came up. It was something.
I'm not sure either.
It was something that
I think you asked me about, and I don't even want to say this term, but I think you asked me about what Gamergate was, and you were like, "What is?" You know exactly why we don't want to get into that.
I had heard about this thing called Gamergate. And Ash is in the business, so I said, what's that? He did just that. He just said, oh, Jesus Christ.
It's just, it's about ethics in game journalism.
Right.
Sure.
And so I was shocked. I was shocked at the extent to which mean folks can do mean things to people playing video games. Precisely because when we come to these events, it is all about inclusivity. There are people who are neurodiverse, neurotypical, short, tall, fat, thin, black, white, orange, gay, straight. And the inclusivity of what this is about is a sort of a microcosm of what I wish real life was like.
Yeah, that's for sure.
My point is that I wanted to tee that up for you because when he told me, oh, let me tell you, and that's what was the impetus for Good Vibes Gaming.
Yeah, so I worked for about a decade at a YouTube channel that you may have heard of called Game Explain. And my cohorts there and I were there for about almost a decade. But unfortunately, the owner of said channel was kind of viciously exploiting us. So we decided to go do our own thing.
Welcome to Hollywood.
I know, exactly. And so we were just like, hey, all this work we do for someone else's channel, and it's not necessarily appreciated, we can do for ourselves. And we reap the benefits. And we can do it for ourselves. And so I grabbed the rest of the other Game Explain crew, and I'm like, guys, let's just go do our own thing. And let me tell you about this concept I've had in my head for years called Good Vibes Gaming, and I just didn't know what form it should take. And but for me, I actually, you called me a gamer earlier, not that you would know, but I tried not to call myself a gamer anymore because the term gamer, capital G, has become unfortunately synonymous with hate, bigotry, bullying, basically gatekeeping for anyone who isn't a cishet white guy. And
honest to God.
And not everybody who calls himself a gamer is like that, but just that term.
Hey, are you a gamer?
I call myself a gaming enthusiast or a content creator because that term has been poisoned now. And so it really kind of has, unfortunately. So
I remember a couple of people took a swing at me today.
Exactly. So I guess, raise your hand in this room if you've ever been bullied at school in your life. Yeah, really badly bullied, right? So I was too, and that really affected me, something I carried with me, I think, in a positive way. And so the reason that I wanted to found Good Vibes Gaming is because I want to push back against that horrible narrative that games are only for straight, white, neurotypical men, because that is not even close to true. Games are for everybody. And so that was our mission statement. We welcome everybody regardless of race, gender identity, creed, neurotypical, neurodivergent, doesn't matter. We want to welcome everybody. And that's, as you said, Dad, that's kind of a microcosm of the way the world should be. And so that's why we do what we do. And that's why I'm here doing this with him. And hopefully we're going to start doing a lot more convention appearances together.
I hope so, man. I got to pay your college loans back. Not true. My kid is free and clear, and he learned it off the back of a cereal box. It's pretty cheap for me.
Right.
Okay, this is ostensibly your time. We would love to answer any questions that you guys might have about anything we do or we should do or maybe stop doing.
Right.
So
And if you raise your hand, I will come over with a microphone, and we have
you
a
go ahead
couple
and pick.
volunteers.
I'm an equal opportunity picker. Not my nose, just.
Hi, guys.
Hi. Yeah, I'll pick yours. Yeah. There you go.
Can you hear me? Okay.
Yes.
Hi. This is the first time. This is the third time I've seen you. So hi.
Oh my gosh. Hi.
My name's Emma.
Was I an asshole last time?
No, you were wonderful. You were wonderful.
Thank you.
It's great to meet you, Ash.
And very nice to meet you too.
I'm a fan of so much of your guys' work. What was it like working on Bravo Man together?
That
What a blast.
still one of the most rewarding experiences of my entire career. I miss Shifty Look so much every single day of my life. That was the dream job. I miss Shifty Look like hell, and Bravo Man was the pinnacle of everything we did. And I also got to produce the Wonder Momo mobile game, and that was a lot of fun too. I miss that, and if I could somehow magic that back into existence and get the money to fund a Shifty Look 2, I would in a second. It was great being in the recording booth, watching him do. I've gone to a lot of sessions with him, but going to a session for something that I'm actively working on.
He's my boss.
It was a pretty special experience, and I would do anything to have it again. Honestly.
Did you watch Bravo Man? I did. It's pretty cute, and it's got good people.
Dee was on it.
What's that? Dee Bradley
Romy.
Baker.
Romy's great. I miss her.
Romy Dames, Jennifer Hale.
Yeah.
Yours truly, and Randy Rogel.
Right, he did the music.
From Warner Brothers wrote the theme song. The guy who
Right.
wrote United States, Canada, but no, it was great fun.
It's all up on YouTube now. Thankfully, some kind soul out there preserved it. So if you haven't seen Bravo Man, it's based on this super obscure TurboGrafx 16 game that they made a whole animated series out, or we made a whole animated series out of. And if you haven't seen it, it's 12 short episodes, and it's
really fun.
So fun. So find it on YouTube. Someone out there preserved it. Whoever you are, thank you for preserving it. Yeah, thank you for that.
Okay, who's next?
All right over here.
Hey, bud.
Hello. Just making sure this is working.
Yes, sir.
Well, I have a bit of two questions. I hope that's okay.
Sure.
One question is for Ash.
Okay.
With all the video games you worked on, were you able to help your dad get any gigs voicing in the games, or were hey, Papa, here's a gig you could audition for?
I don't think. I don't know that it was. I don't think I was the one who recommended you for Bravo. It was Rob Pareda who knew he wanted you from the beginning. I facilitated that and made it easier. But no, I can't say that I've ever specifically. Gotten him a role in games, although I do very clearly remember one little quick story is that you played two minor characters in Final Fantasy X too.
Yes.
And so I came to one of the recording sessions with you for that.
That was at the place over there on Ventura and Colfax.
Right.
Music, yeah.
And I am a big Square Enix fan, Final Fantasy fan, and so I remember while he was recording, one of the recording engineers said, "Hey, do you want to see a scene from the game?" And I'm like, "Oh, sure." Hadn't come out yet, sure. So he started keying up and he's like, "Okay, so this is the ending," and I'm like, "No, I don't want to see that. Can I see the opening maybe? But I don't want to see the ending of this game I've been waiting for years." And he laughed. He's like, "Oh yeah, sorry, I should have thought about that." But yeah, so kind of a tangent, not the answer to your question. But yeah, I don't think I've ever gotten you a role in a game.
I remember clearly. I think you were in college. I don't remember, maybe high school. I don't remember, but I remember I came home from work and you were playing as you were, games, and said, "Hey, Dad, you were in Metal Gear Solid, right?"
Oh, that was your biggest gaming role. Yeah.
I said, "God, I think so." And I don't, it's not out of arrogance. I've been so fortunate to work a lot that I sometimes forget, especially when the game had been out for a while. And I remember you had the scene pulled up on the screen and said, "This is you with Cam Clark." And I said, "Yeah." So after that.
And David Hayter. Yeah.
Now, I can't even tell you how many cyborg ninja things.
Gray Fox, people love that character, myself included.
Yeah, I've only done a handful of games really, one of which you told me just passed 1 million units. Shredder's Revenge.
Oh my God, yeah, TMNT Shredder's Revenge, so good. It's such a good game.
Well, coming from him, I remember when you played it, I think at
PAX East last
PAX East
year.
in Boston, right?
Well, yeah, PAX East last year was where they announced. You told me like 8 months before we could reveal it that they had brought all of you back in to do the voices, and so PAX East was where they revealed that, and so where people got to play the first build of the game where we could actually all hear all the original Turtles. And I mean, speaking as someone who would have been I would have been into exactly what TMNT is, even if my dad wasn't involved. But him being involved makes it even cooler. But even as for someone like me who just had a lot of nostalgia for the TMNT anyway, people who played it, when you finish a stage in that game and you have all 4 turtles screaming "Cowabunga," it just brings you back to a much better, more innocent time in our lives, and just gives you goosebumps all the time. It's such a good game. I
was so thrilled. He called, "Dad, I just played Shredder's Revenge." Ah! So it was
they nailed
very
it.
Fun.
Yeah.
Yes, sir. So what's your second question?
My second question is for you, Mr. Paulsen.
Well, how convenient.
I don't know if you remember the Animaniacs episode where they jungled up which Animaniacs are with whom, like they paired Pinky up with Rita for 5 seconds.
I do kind of remember that.
Which Animaniac would you have liked Pinky to hang out with for an entire episode besides Brain?
Let's see.
Clock's ticking.
Rita, because I love. Oh my God! I lost my train of thought. I'm getting so old. Bernadette Peters. She's so beautiful, and what a singer! Oh my goodness, the nicest lady.
I remember that. Yeah,
Bernadette. I'd probably Chicken Boo. He's pretty kooky.
Oh, love Chicken Boo.
Why not?
He's
a giant chicken, I tell you.
And the good pigeons,
the God pigeons,
or the God pigeons. The good feathers, good feathers. Sorry.
Of which which was Maurice.
Right.
Maurice was the Ray Liotta part.
I love the good feathers.
Chick Venera
was
good. The Joe Pesci part, and the Robert De Niro part was John Mariano. So, with a couple of Italian pigeons for real life in there.
So such a great bit.
All right. We have Yako here.
Hey, buddy.
Hello. Hi again.
Hi.
Hi.
I have a question for both of you. It's one question. Who is your favorite Ninja Turtle and why?
Oh, boy.
All right.
You want to go first, or do you want me to go first?
You go first. You go first.
The next one. How's that for an arrogant answer? I'm 50% of them now. So if I live to be 100, maybe I can knock them all out. I honestly, and that is a really, the fact that you can ask that means that I have been beyond fortunate to be able to have to choose which turtle I got to do. Ash was there at the beginning of all this. Probably doesn't remember too much. Was like 5 or 6
little
years
bit,
old.
yeah.
And I mean, we know what it is. It is, some pun intended, desperately evergreen and bulletproof. This unbelievable franchise has brought more joy to more people in more places and continues to do so. So in terms of my incredible ride in the Turtle Van, anytime you can be the original on something that becomes that is a really big deal. So I would have to say that personally and even ethically, because Barry Gordon is Donatello. I got to do it a second time, and I told Barry about it. He could not have been more supportive. So I think because I never would have gotten Donatello, I have to go with Raphael. So ask me next time when I do the third one.
For me, I would say it's a pretty... I love them all, of course, but I have a particular soft spot for Donatello, and always have. Purple is my second favorite color. I love the bow staff as a weapon in general. I always have. And I just like the whole, he's obviously tough. He can fight with the best of them, but he's also obviously super smart and just has kind of I feel like he's kind of the odd duck out, in some ways, at least, of all the turtles. And, like Raph is the brash, rough and tumble, get in your face guy. Leo's the leader, although I have some issues with that. And Mikey's the party dude. But Donnie, he's the nerd, but he's not necessarily the stereotypical nerd. And so I just I've always loved Donnie, but I love them all. And of course, I would say What's funny is a lot of people I get this a lot when I say, Donnie's my favorite, and then Raph is my second favorite, which is true. But immediately, invariably, they'll always go, oh, yeah, because of your dad. And I'm like, well, no, that just makes it even better, and it does. Yeah. I promise. That makes it so much cooler. But no, those are actually my unfiltered top two favorite turtles, just anyway. So,
yeah. So let's see. Donnie's kind of a badass, but he's also smart.
Right.
Well, clearly, life does not imitate art, because I just say I'm not smart. This guy got all the brains from his mom. Okay, who else? Anybody else? Yes, sir. Yes, ma'am. Oh my goodness, it's my Animaniacs family.
So great.
Hello, Mama Nurse.
It's nice to see you guys again.
Would you please, girls, I'm sorry to put you on the spot, but you are so precious. Would you mind bringing your beautiful girls out front so everybody can see you? You got to see this. Can you get
these
this
are
on camera?
Fantastic.
Look at these. Are you kidding me?
Yeah.
Look at
amazing work.
We're the Warner Brothers.
My goodness.
Absolutely phenomenal.
You guys, thank you. That kind of stuff. And I'm dead serious, Mom. What is your name? Josephine. I am like Josephine Baker, one of my favorite singers. Josephine and ladies, this at my age now is the best part of my job. I get to see how deeply these characters often are multi-generational, intergenerational, and how wonderful that you get to share that with your kids, and I get to see it. When Ash was little, and I love watching cartoons, but when Ash was little, he really dug Sesame Street and Muppets. I could watch that stuff all day. If my son, God bless you, had wanted to watch Teletubbies,
right,
or Barney, I would have,
yeah,
I just couldn't do it because I used to watch Flintstones and Looney Tunes, and it's like Animaniacs. The edict from Mr. Spielberg from the beginning was to not condescend to the audience. If you don't get it now, you'll get it later. That's Bugs is 80. So my point is that meant so much to me. And this is just so beautiful. So thank you.
So great.
You guys get free tickets to the water tower. Unless you're arrested, then you're on your own. Good night, everybody. Okay. Bye, sweetie. Aren't they beautiful? My God. Look at that. That's commitment. It's crazy. Okay,
right.
Who else has a question?
Okay, so like I was saying.
My brother Wacko.
Okay, so hello. And also, like I was saying, I have two questions.
Okay.
One for Ash and one for you.
Okay.
So, Ash, what was it like growing up with, like, a famous dad? Like, because he's a voice actor, so did your friends know he's famous? So could you brag about it? Or were they like, oh, my gosh, that's Rob Paulsen? Right. Or were they like, who is that? Like, all I know is Donatello.
But you know what? What's so nice about our language is inflection. They say, oh, my God, it's Rob Paulsen. No, it's, oh, my God, it's Rob Paulsen. I get that more. Yeah.
This is a funny story, and I promise I'm not saying this for sympathy or anything, but I didn't really have many friends growing up.
Yeah.
As I said before, I was bullied pretty viciously for, I was a big nerd. I love video games, and
sometimes
I was just,
having me do what I do got to be a pain in the ass.
Well, that's the thing, is that the other kids at school would know who my dad is, but and they would ask, like, if through me, if they could get like a signed picture. And of course I was way too nice and would always, be like, oh, sure, happy to. But they would never want to invite me to their birthday parties, or they basically used me as a way to get, pictures from, my celebrity dad. And so that sucked a lot growing up. But outside of that, I can't say I really ever got to brag about it. I get to brag about it a lot more now than I did then, just because we get to do stuff together. But no, I didn't really get to brag about it because I didn't have a lot of friends to brag to. And, so that kind of sucked. But at the same time, it was very cool getting to go to recording sessions, which is something that most kids would never get to do. And I went to all the Warner Brothers studio trips with you.
We had so much fun.
So there was a lot of good, but specifically in terms of the social aspect of it, it kind of sucked. I'm not going to lie, but it's way better now. Way better.
You had some cool birthday parties, too.
Oh, definitely, yeah.
Yes, ma'am. What's your other question?
And second question to you, who inspired you to voice act? Like, who was your inspiration?
Fear. Fear is a great motivator. No, I was ostensibly came out to L.A. a long time ago to do live action TV movies, music. I'm a singer first, and I'd been on the road with a theater company and a rock and roll band for a few years before I moved here, and I was pretty prepared. I knew a lot that I would not have known had I spent a few years on the road, and I was still pretty young. And so I came out here. I was doing a lot of commercials, a lot of TV shows, MacGyver, St. Elsewhere, Hill Street Blues, stuff like that, and a half a dozen utterly forgettable movies. And when so I'd been all on camera and some TV and radio voiceover stuff. But then one day my agent said, "Have you ever thought about doing animation?" I said, "Well, sure," but it's a pretty closed shop because in those days it was primarily weekend, Saturday and Sunday, and sometimes a little after school, and a handful of really wonderful actors did pretty much all of them, including Mel Blanc and June Foray and all that. Well, they're auditioning for this thing called a new company called Sunbow, Marvel, whatever. It's going to be G.I. Joe and something called Transformers, and you go and read, and you audition just like any other acting job, only thank God nobody cares what you look like. And so I got booked on G.I. Joe, and the next week I got Transformers. Charlie Adler and I started there, and I kept doing both sides of the fence, and then I called my agent after probably my 15th or 20th animated show, and I said, "You know what, I am fine not necessarily being on Who's Cooking the Soup, I'd be lying if I said I don't like it. When people recognize me, it's incredibly flattering and humbling."
Well, and Mom also kind of helped encourage you, right? Like,
oh yeah,
she
I was just going to say, yeah, because that was a big part of the. Thank you so much. No, that was a big part of the equation because I was working on camera, but I started getting a lot of work with my voice, and he was coming along, and she said, not that you're tough to look at necessarily, but you're getting a lot of work with your voice, and she was so right. I made the conscious decision to focus on that. So what inspired me to do it was the opportunity. I just love to work. I love my job. I'm essentially in the happy business, just like Ash. And acting is acting. I work with many of them are here, incredibly gifted people, many of whom do on-camera stuff, some don't. It's all about your chops and thinking, and as Billy West says, fearlessness. You're only as good as you dare to be bad, and I've been bad a lot.
Sorry to circle back really quick. You mentioned how many of your talented friends are right here.
Yeah.
That was one thing I didn't touch on. I got a really unique experience growing up because I got to, by proxy, have a count among my adult friends. People like Maurice LaMarche, Jess Harnell, Trez McNeil, Billy West, all these, Mark Hamill. I got to be, kind of friends with Luke Skywalker growing up, and once in a while I'll still see on my phone, it'll say Mark Hamill liked your tweet, and I'm like, Jesus, Luke Skywalker liked my tweet. So that's been a really cool part of all this too, is getting to be friends with all these amazingly talented and also really humble people.
I was just going to say, Ash I could not have said it better. They are so, in Mark's case, really down to earth. Nice, unassuming, utterly devoid of pretense. And then they open their mouths and they start doing their chops, and it's just like, wow, where did that come from? And I'm a perfect example of a high tide raises all boats. I would absolutely not be in the position in which I gratefully find myself were it not for that group of people and others who just make you look a whole lot better. So I had a great point. Thank you for asking, and thank you again for your cosplay. It's just the best.
So good.
Who else?
We have more questions over here, but quick question for Ash. What happened to that YouTube channel that you guys left en masse?
Oh, they're still doing fine with a new team. It's like I said, Game Explain, and it's never been about like we're going to beat them and we're going to make sure they disappear. It's never been about that. It's been like we're going to do our own thing. We support the new team there. Our only issue was with the guy who owned it, but it was never about like trying to one up them or erase them. So they're still around. Game Explain, if you want to check them out on YouTube. That's me proving that we have no bone to pick with them at all. So.
Well, that's admirable. Very nice.
Yeah.
Okay, so 1, 2, 3.
Hello.
Hi.
I know what it's like having a partner in crime with you 24/7. But as you guys talked about your past, do you guys have projects that you would or are planning or in the works of in the future together that you're very excited about or would like to talk about?
Well, from your lips to God's checkbook. We talk about it a lot. And frankly, again, you guys are helping me and my boy start, a journey of 1,000 miles starts with but one step. So we got a billion steps to go. But it's something that for anyone to be able to work with their child, assuming their child and he or she get along, sadly, is not that uncommon. It just don't get no better. And I'm so proud of him and what he is about and his ethos that it was just he makes me better. So I'm not.
He certainly makes me better. So
I might have been born at night, but not last night. I know. I'm not that stupid. Even though I'm the stupid one, I'm not that stupid. So yeah, we have nothing specific, but that's half the fun of it. Like this is a result of something Ash came up with because of his expertise and mine called Game That Tune. And so we started having people who are very prolific in video games and cartoons on, and every single one of them said, sure. They're just
right.
Nice.
And this is kind of the genesis of what we have planned. You're here for the first panel of it because we've been talking forever about how we want to start doing shows together, but it wasn't really until now that we've started to be able to make it happen. Yeah. So fingers crossed, the people who book you for conventions continue to see some value in booking me with you as well, because
sure.
I want to keep doing it. So
here comes Rob Paulsen and his grandfather, and they think he's me. But thank you for asking. Stay tuned. TOONED.
We're going to be in Florida at the end of July.
Yeah,
right?
We're going to be in Tampa.
Tampa, I think.
Tampa, yeah. So, and by the way, Ash, you guys all know about his Good Vibes Gaming. Is it GVG Official on Twitter?
GVG Official on Twitter and just GVG at GVG on YouTube or GVG Official.
Yeah.
We're GV Gaming on Patreon, so we're everywhere.
Yeah, check those out. But also, if you go to my website, robpaulsenvoice.com, and all my socials, upcoming events and stuff like that, where we're going to be together. And he also goes to a lot of events. It's happening more and more where people come up to me and say, "Are you Ash Paulsen's dad?" I love that. So
just very humbling,
asking.
yeah. And if any of you are going to be in Seattle, I'll be at PAX West over Labor Day weekend. So I always do PAX West every year. So, yeah, thank you.
Thank you.
All right, another question here.
Yes. So you guys have both seen, I'm assuming, Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles, the TV show.
I'm sorry, one more time?
So, Master Roshi, Splinter.
Oh, of course, Splinter.
Yeah, yes.
Oh, Splinter, yes.
Yes. So if you had him as a dad, instead of your lovely, beautiful father, who we wish we had as father, what would you enjoy that, or?
I think I would enjoy it if I wasn't Leonardo, because Splinter put so much lopsided pressure on him, and I don't know that he's the best one who's the most fit to be the leader. I don't know. That's just me. But I think I'd enjoy it if I was Raph, because he always seems to kind of show a bit more of a little warmth there, because he knows Raph is socially maladjusted, very angry, very pained, and so he really goes to great pains to kind of make him feel a little better and make him feel like he belongs. So I think if I was Raph, yes. If I was Leo, no.
She says you're Leo. Sorry.
Oh, if I'm Leo, then no. I don't think I'd enjoy that very much. I feel like I'd have a lot of pressure on me at all times. Yeah.
All right, another question here.
Hi.
Hello.
Hi.
Oh, nice to see you again.
Yes. So, quick question. Okay. So, what was, for Mr. Paulsen here, what was your favorite season of recording for, as Donatello? What was your favorite season of recording for?
My favorite season? Oh, my goodness. And this is not a coy answer. Like I said, I'm in the happy business, and I work with people whom I would choose to be my friends every day. And then we go home and we have, a normal life, like cars and braces and a house and all that. And then we get to come to these events around the world and have people make a fuss over us, and we're exhausted from the weekend because we said thank you all weekend. So all of it is great. I did have a couple of favorite episodes, and I don't recall the seasons, but there's one, well, I should say line. There are a couple of great lines that Donnie had. One is where he says, butt cannons! It had butt cannons! I like that one. And the one where, I think it's with a big alligator or something, he says, he's got me by the face, Mikey! By the face! He goes, okay, you did it again. You got me by the face. What is wrong with my face? And
Leatherhead, right?
Is that right?
It's Leatherhead.
Leatherhead. Yeah, and so it was all great. I'll tell you, and I remember having this chat with Ash when I was so lucky to get it again, another crack at it. I remember Ash, we were logically saying, wow, no offense, I'm glad they hired you, but did they not know that you would not? Yeah, they did. I almost aced myself out of a job. And the logical question, understandably, especially for a big fan of something that big, is, man, why don't you just leave it alone? It's great. And people really take it to an extreme. Now you're screwing with my childhood.
Oh, geez, yeah.
Honestly, folks.
Ruining my childhood.
If that's going to ruin your childhood, take it over. Do a do-over.
Right.
So I, of course, said, well, I want to do it. Plus, I'm working, and okay. And I remember he hadn't seen it for very much, if at all. And then you called me after you saw it on Netflix or something?
Yeah, I think I watched the, I've watched the whole thing now, but I watched the first few episodes, and I was like, this is my favorite iteration of TMNT ever. Like, the 2012 series is brilliant.
It turned out so well because the people who are making it are your age.
Right. Yeah. And it's just, it's got this great, I mean, you all know, but it's got this great mix of like Western CG animation with anime vibes. And it's just, and I love anime. So for me, I have an infinite capacity for anime stylings of anything. So when TMNT did that, the 2012 version, I was in love immediately.
It was cool. It was really cool. Do you have a favorite episode or a season?
My favorite season would be season 3.
Okay.
The farmhouse arc was personally one of my favorites.
Oh, cool.
I really liked the episode The Creep, where the turtles fought that giant plant monster that was kind of like Jason, but I thought that was really cool. So,
well, thank you. And you have you ever met Greg or Sean or Seth?
I have not.
They are just delightful. The nicest. And Greg Sipes, God bless him. Greg Sipes is Mikey.
Yeah.
He's the same guy. He's Beast Boy. Mm-hmm. And if you ever met, he always comes to a convention with his beautiful dog, Wingman. And he always says, I believe in dog. And
I love that.
He loves that sweet puppy and loves him. That dog is it's a Buddha dog. It just sits there.
I love that.
It's a Zen dog. Zen, Zen, Zen. And Rin Tin Zen. And Greg is just exactly who he purports to be. 100% vegan, Buddhist, meditates every day, yogi, really wonderful guy.
I assume you mean yoga, not the bear yogi.
Not the bear.
Right, okay.
No, a yogi.
Right.
Boom, boom. Okay, who else has a question?
So I have a quick question, Rob. How did you enjoy arguing with yourself in that one episode where you got to play?
It was great fun because I got to be with the other guys. That was a show called an episode called Transdimensional Turtles.
Oh, that was so cool.
I'll tell you, this is a quick story about the power of this franchise. Again, we screened that show at New York Comic Con just before the season when it began airing. And there were probably 3,500. It was a big room. And I was there with the other turtles. And so we told them the producer, Ciro Nielli, said, we're going to tell you what we're going to see. Lights went down. Episode aired. Came back up. None of us had seen it, including the crowd, obviously. And, man, the number of people, especially young men, 40 and under, pan across the crowd, and they're going like this.
Right.
It really blew my mind. It was like, oh, my God. I hear the old turtles talking to the new turtles, and it's just like that's a 25-year gap. And it was the most incredible thing. It's just a remarkable franchise.
That was such a cool idea. I love that, the whole crossover thing. It was so neat.
Well, coming from a turtle freak, that means a lot. Hi.
Hey, so I've been lucky enough to talk to Rob a few times because you keep coming and visiting us.
I know. I'm like a herpes sore. I can't.
And
I keep coming back.
And every time I bring up Mighty Max, he
nice.
always says about how that was your favorite cartoon that he voiced back then.
Yeah, it was definitely. I would actually say that Animaniacs is still my favorite. My favorite. But Mighty Max I adored because it is kind of what goes back to what he was saying before. But it didn't talk down to kids. It didn't pander. It was and it was serialized. You didn't get a lot of serialized kids cartoons back in the day. It actually told a larger story with character development. It wasn't like a monster of the week type thing. There was like a whole arc of his development and all the character development. That's what I loved about it so much.
All right. So who was your
Tim Curry? That's enough.
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
Wonderful. Absolutely wonderful. He's just such a great villain.
Crazy talent.
Who was your favorite companion, Virgil or Norman?
Oh, that's so hard. I love them both. I think I'd have to give the slight edge to Virgil, but I loved them both for sure.
Virgil sort of has Donatello vibes.
He does, and he just had a bit of a depth to him that I really liked. He was obviously very stern and strict, but also had a very soft, kind side as well.
Exactly.
That was
cool.
the late great Tony J, who did Virgil. He was also Frollo in The Hunchback, or Frodo. Frollo was in.
Oh, that's the animated Notre Dame Hunchback of Notre Dame.
Yeah,
Frollo was the villain.
Right, Frodo,
Yeah.
Lord Dredd.
Oh,
that's right. No, Tony was one of a kind, boy. It was really, and Richard Mall, Bull from Night Court. It was a really lovely group of actors, and Tony's gone now, and Tim is doing okay. He had a stroke, but man, talk about a trooper. And Richard Mall is still working. I think he's made a couple of guest spots on the new Night Court.
Oh, yeah.
But anyway, it was a great. Thank you very much for paying attention.
And just real quick, how do you feel? This is for both of you. How do you feel about the fact that your last Donatello was the last time that they didn't give him glasses to look like a nerd?
Oh my God, I
didn't even think about that.
I didn't either. Wow, that. How do I feel about the fact that
essentially stereotyping nerds is with glasses, and since Donatello is a nerd, every iteration since then, the movies,
right,
and the cartoon that you voice directed, and the newest one,
Mutant Mayhem, yeah.
Was that Seth Rogen's new movie? Yeah.
All of them use Donatello glasses.
Do they like? Is it the binocular glasses type things? Like in.
I don't think the new one is. I think he just wears regular glasses in the newest.
Well, that's interesting because in Donatello on the original show, Donnie didn't wear glasses there, and mine didn't. That's right.
Yeah, I don't love it because not that there's anything wrong with glasses. I wear glasses when I'm not wearing contacts, but I like that. As I kind of said before, I like that Donnie wasn't stereotyped. He was kind of a different kind of nerd, and which I always kind of really appreciated. And I have to say, the second Mutant Mayhem trailer kind of turned me around on it. I wasn't sure about it before. And this is not any hate toward the voice actor at all, but I don't like the child voice they're going with for Donatello in this new movie. He sounds like a prepubescent teenager. And which is, again, the kid I'm sure is super talented, but I just don't like that direction for really any of the Turtles, but Donnie too. They're younger, but he's the one who sounds like he's like a young child. And I'm like, I don't know about this, but I still want to see it. So,
cool.
Yeah.
Thank you. Yeah,
thank you.
All right, we have a question over here.
Hi.
I'm breaking the mold. My question's not about Ninja Turtles.
Cool.
Fair enough.
It's also kind of a deep cut. In the Jimmy Timmy Power Hours, what was it like being one of the only people to work with both casts?
Yeah. Well, the Jimmy Neutron thing, first of all, was another one that we did the movie first, and it was very successful. Got nominated for an Oscar. It was really great fun, but you never know for sure if it'll translate, and it did. I mean, it was a really clever show. Every now and then I'll be channel surfing, and I'll watch it. It's pretty funny. And I got to work on Butch's show, Fairly Odd Parents, with that group. Susie Blakesley, Carlos Alazraqui was here this weekend, Darren Norris, of course, Tara, really, and Gray's going to be here tomorrow. Huge fun. So those crossover things are the best. And I wish I could be more specific, but it really is. It's like this one big happy 40-year dream. You know, it's just everybody's nice, everybody's talented, everybody's grateful. So it's just a really lovely place to be. But did you particularly like the Power Hour?
Both of them.
Yay. Power Hours. Sorry. Three. See?
I couldn't remember if there was 3
well,
or 4.
you missed one. What the hell's wrong with you? Thank you.
All right, we have a question from the Satellite of Love.
Hi.
To go off of...
Are they auditioning for the Village People? Is that... That's a cryptic joke for someone my age. Thank you for laughing. Good for you.
Nice.
To go off of what she was talking about, Carl Weezer.
Yeah.
Did that? Thank you. Did that voice?
Don't finish your croissant in front of everybody. Isn't that crazy? I'm sorry. Go ahead.
No, you're fine. Did that voice come from anywhere, or did
Hell.
it just like? And do you expect to use the character in the future?
I'm sorry. Say again. I was being an asshole.
You're fine. Do you expect to use the character anytime in the future?
Oh, my friend, I've used them half a dozen times today. Can I tell you? And I forgot who it was. There was a gentleman. Maybe he's not in here, but if you are here, you'll know that you made an impression. I fairly often, and it happened today with this particular gentleman, came up and I said, "I know you hear this all the time." And the first thing I said, and I'm dead serious, was, "Yeah, but it's the first time I've heard it from you." It doesn't lessen the humility or the humility it engenders because you might be the 10th person who said that today. All that means is there's another person who somehow paid attention to this profoundly fortunate circumstance in which we both find ourselves. So it is never, I know you've heard this too much, it is never, "I'm sorry to bother you." It's at least with respect to me, it's great. Now, in terms of Carl himself, I never had any idea that he was going to be Carl. I didn't.
He's really blown up.
Oh, my God.
Yeah.
Parrish, Ash's mom, my wife, said a few years ago, she'd already been on TikTok, and said, "Are you on TikTok?" And I said, "No." And she said, "Well, you ought to be." And, of course, I pretty much say yes to everything because that's why I'm here doing this gig. And, man, was she right. I think I asked you, I don't remember, but I said, "Hey, Carl Weezer's a meme all over the place." And you and Basila was like, "Oh, yeah, dude, it's a thing."
Oh, yeah. No.
So the first one I did was Carl singing some goofy song, and like overnight it was 500,000, and that's like 4.6 million now. But when I signed on and I looked for Carl Weezer, there were like 400 million Carl somethings, ticks or talks, I don't know. But that kind of goes under the category of you just never know what's going to take off. I love that little critter.
You know, and when a lot of people, like when people ask me about like you and your roles and stuff, I have to say, I feel like Carl comes up either as much or maybe even more often than Yakko and Pinky and Raph and Don. Yeah, Carl's gotten huge.
I'm going to kill them. No, it's just great, and thank you for watching. It's truly a pleasure to do that little guy. He's a kook.
All right, we have a question over here.
Yeah,
I was worried they were napping.
In the back 40. We got to get to them.
It's like, wake up, guys. You can ask questions too.
I love your hair.
Well, thank you.
Same.
It's not my real hair.
Oh, no, don't say that. You're supposed to say yes. I get it from my alien mother's side. Yeah.
This is a question for both of you.
Yes.
Okay.
So, a la Super Smash Brothers, out of all of your characters, who would win?
Oh.
Boy, that's a question. I don't know, because you know Super Smash Brothers like the back of your hand.
Basically, Smash is just a crossover fighting game with characters from different franchises. So basically, you're asking, of all his characters, who would win if all of your characters were in a fighting game together?
Oh, I see. Okay.
Yeah. So basically, all the characters you've
are in it
voiced.
now. Do you know?
Well, you have an assist. You have like a side character in Smash who's Gray Fox, and they just reused your lines from. Okay. So basically, of all your characters, who would win in a fight?
Who would win?
Yeah.
Carl, because he's a badass. I don't know, Yakko would get the hell out of the way, and Pinky would just get tossed by because he's so stupid. Point. And Raphael would leap out of the way. Donatello would figure out a way to beat the hell out of everybody. And like I said, Carl's a badass. So I don't know. How about you? Do you have an idea of who might actually win that thing?
Honestly, I was kind of leaning towards Carl.
Now you're talking.
I mean, he has Jimmy, so Jimmy could help him.
Yeah, are you married?
No.
You want to be? I love your face. Look at that. Jesus, that makes me so happy. Look at that beautiful face.
Oh, I was going to say Bubsy. That was going to be my, Bubsy is going to be my answer.
That's what, I don't know if you guys know this.
Yeah, but what could possibly go wrong?
What could possibly go wrong?
Yeah.
I somehow, and I don't know why, because I truly don't fancy myself as I'm good at my job, but there are a lot of really, famous celebrity type people. I can't tell you how many people I've been, probably close to 1,000 now, at different cons all over the place, that have said, I understand that Bubsy really broke your heart. It was really difficult and you hated it. And the check's cleared. I didn't hate it at all.
I mean, a lot of people hated Bubsy 3D because it was a broken game. Yeah,
it was an awful game, but somehow people, it became a thing where people would say, wow, I guess I shouldn't mention Bubsy. I know what the hell you're talking about. Anytime you get a job doing this or that and people pay you, it's a good gig.
So I was originally going to say like Gray Fox or Raph would probably win, but then I'm like, well, death is a very real thing in the Metal Gear Solid universe, and Yakko can take really infinite amounts of punishment.
That's right.
I mean, and Pinky. So I feel like because they really can't die, I feel like they'd outlast anybody else really. So I think I got to go with Yakko probably.
Good idea.
Yeah.
You're a smart kid.
I'm surprised you didn't go for the giant robot from Transformers, Slingshot.
Oh, yeah, Slingshot.
He could just step
Air
on
raid.
him.
Yeah, man. Oh, boy. Hi.
All right, we have a question over here, and then we'll come back over there.
Hello.
Hello. First of all, I'm so happy at the Bubsy mention.
Thank you. You're the one.
Thank you.
What did you like about Bubsy? Just because it was weird?
I guess so. I don't know. I remember having a cartridge at some point, and just it kind of stuck in my brain forever.
Well, pretty soon it'll get stuck in your pinky, and then you'll really be happy. What could possibly go wrong? That's what I say.
But my question, Ash, do you have any favorite roles of Rob's that you consider underrated, or maybe the media that they're from to be underrated? Because I watched Dragon Hunters a lot as a kid, and Guizdo is one of my favorite roles of yours.
Which one?
Sorry?
What did you watch?
Dragon Hunters.
Oh my God!
I don't even know if I know about Dragon Hunters.
I don't think you do. That was a French film, as I recall. I was in that. God, a wonderful actor. I can't remember. I'll remember it in a minute. It was great. That was great fun. I'd not seen it. I never saw it. But did it turn out well? Apparently. I love it. Great. Yeah. Thank you. It had. I know that the look of the film was really beautiful. Yeah, it's a lovely thing to watch. But thank you very much. I appreciate that. We'll have to watch that.
So for me, my answer for this is pretty clear cut, and that's Rude Dog. I always loved Rude Dog, and it wasn't very long lived, but I thought it was great.
Yeah.
For the short time that it was a thing.
That was a CBS show.
I really it was so weird and off kilter and just kind of its own bizarre thing, and I really liked it. And no one knows what it is. It's also funny. Oh, are they really?
Not with me, but they're doing it again.
Well, what's the point? If they're not, I don't really know what the point is. Also, another one, Denver, the Last Dinosaur. Yeah, Denver, the Last Dinosaur. He's not on the same level as Rude Dog for me, but I liked how just 80s, thoroughly 80s that concept was.
Yeah, and we moved to the home that you grew up in the year that Rude Dog premiered. And I remember that was a great cast. It was Frank Welker, Peter Cullen, Jim Cummings, Dave Coulier, myself, Ellen Gerstel, and oh gosh, I can't remember the last gentleman, but boy, oh my God, it was fun. When you're in a room with Optimus Prime and Megatron and Uncle Joey and Winnie the Pooh and oh man, it's crazy.
Well, talk about a monkey's paw, though. They're finally bringing back Rude Dog, but the original cast isn't in it. What's the point?
I don't know.
I don't understand personally, but yeah.
We'll have to take them outside and give them a little talking to. You know what I'm talking about?
Exactly.
Yeah, right. Bada boom, bada bim. Anybody else have a... Oh,
we had a few in the center here.
Great.
I know this gentleman, then you, and then I think someone over here.
Hi.
Hi. Number one, thanks for coming back.
Oh,
thanks for
absolutely.
coming.
I'm happy to be here.
Thank you for having us.
A question for both of you, considering you have different aspects of the creative community. And I realize this could be a long answer, but if you just had an overall thought about what you think AI might do, artificial intelligence, as far as people who are creative being replaced by, or people who are
great question
producing things, where do you see it going, and how bad or good do you see it getting?
I think, like with all technology, there's massive potential, and I think AI can be applied in so many interesting, beneficial ways. But the way that I'm sure you agree, the way that I've been seeing it applied so far, generating art, imitating voice actors, and I hate to see that because people will never be a replacement for AI. And I don't know, I'm sure some of you in this room have played the Horizon series, Zero Dawn, Forbidden West. I feel like I'm seeing in real time the start of what leads to like the apocalypse of that series, because it's just AI going too far, automation, machines going, and I just feel like we're in the middle of this, like we're at the precipice where, we're starting to figure out AI, but I feel like it could so easily get out of hand and people get replaced, and I don't like where it's going personally. But I think, like anything, like social media, it's awful, but it's also great. So it just depends on how it's applied, really.
Great answer. I mean, Ash knows way more about it than I. However, I have had several of my friends in town saying, dude, check this out. And it was an AI me doing something. And God, that sounds, I've heard myself a lot. And that sounds pretty close, inflection and everything. When I was first in rock and roll many years ago, and drum machines first became a thing, became affordable, we were all, I'm not a drummer, but we were all amazed by what, program with all that stuff. It was like, wow, that's cool. But then it became clear that there's no intonation, there's no feel, there's no soul. So there was a big bumper sticker for years in Hollywood, drum machines have no soul. And, it's kind of like disco sucks. I mean, everybody, there's, like Ash said, good and bad to everything. And now the technology is such that individual DJs are world famous, and they mix beats and do all kinds of stuff, and it's a one-man, one-woman show. I'm an old dog, so I still love to hear the nuance of Jeff Beck or the, Vinnie Colaiuta or Peter Erskine on the drums, or that's nuanced and just a human being.
That's less AI, though, right? That's more just electronic.
I love that.
Yeah.
But if it becomes to the point where you just push a button and you close your eyes and you think you're listening to Jeff Beck, I don't know how I wouldn't go pay to see somebody do that. I don't know what that means in terms of, and I know people will be able to monetize it, but I don't know how that would work. I've been a member of the Screen Actors Guild for years, and I know they're starting to talk about that stuff, especially with respect to the writer's strike. And you kind of, they're talking about college papers where they feed it through an AI device.
Yeah. It's, well, and I've seen a few of these videos, like I'm sure some of you have, like there are these videos where Obama, Trump, and Obama, Trump, and Biden will debate various things. And so I watched one recently where the three of them are debating all three Xenoblade Chronicles games. It's ridiculous. Yeah. But they actually kind of sound like them, and it's a little weird. And the thing that worries me, it's funny, it's played for laughs, but it could very easily be that somebody could have an AI imitate Obama saying something vile, or anybody.
So like they could imitate failsafe.
Yeah, they could imitate you saying something evil.
Yeah.
And that's terrifying because people don't check their sources these days, and they'll be like, Rob Paulsen said he hates
Exactly right.
all this group of people or something, and people just assume it's true. It's scary.
Well, and Ash and his wife, Bisla, are my touchstones. I've had a couple of times when my son has pulled my ass out of the fire.
Oh, I remember.
He calls me up, he says, Dad, I love you, but you put this tweet out, and I don't think you really know the backstory.
So I woke up one morning to, like, my phone blowing up with notifications, and one of my Good Vibes Gaming colleagues messaged me, and he's like, so did you know your dad tweeted about an NFT thing that it sounds like he's going to get into? And I'm like, oh, fuck.
I didn't.
Oh,
I don't
no.
know NFTs. And he told me that NFT in his world, as an acronym, stands
no
for
fucking thanks.
Yeah, no fucking thanks.
Yeah. And so I had to really, I was like, you don't have to believe me or trust me, but I'm telling you, you do not. You are going to piss off your fan base so much, or the vast majority of it. If you get into NFTs, please stay. If you ever listen to anything I've ever said, please listen to me now. Don't get into the whole NFT thing. And now crypto's crashed. So,
yeah, he was so correct, and it was utter. I'm always flattered when somebody wants to hire me. I love to work, and I love to get better and learn. But this technology, that's exactly kind of what you're suggesting, and it is happening so fast. I'd heard of it. I heard of blockchains. I heard of cryptocurrency on TV. I don't really know much about it, and I wasn't going to mess with it. But Ash and his wife said, no, you don't want to mess with it. And then I found out why. And especially with friends of mine who are artists and live on their work, it made perfect sense what Ash and his wife were telling me. And you're right. Now it's kind of went...
And she was so nervous too because my wife Bisla is a very private person, so she hates feeling like there's any sort of attention on, which is ironic considering I do what I do, and I'm kind of in the public eye. But she was like, oh my God, I don't want this backlash to be on your family, and I don't want to be. She was freaking out, and I'm like, don't worry, I got this, I'll handle it. But yeah, she was like, please, you gotta figure something out. And thankfully I did.
It certainly is, to paraphrase Mr. Huxley, it is a brave new world. And you know what? It always is. I'm 67 years old, and I remember when my grandparents were alive, and I can't believe that they're going to actually send a rocket ship up and land somebody on the moon. That was
right
50 years ago, and change. So I can't imagine what Ash is going to see when he's getting toward, closer to the end than he is now. Like when he's my age, I can't even imagine. I truly can't. I think I'm a fairly bright old guy, and I keep in touch, and I read a lot. But holy crap, it's just every day.
It advances so fast.
It's crazy. Are we almost done? Oh yeah,
we're just about out of time, but we have like two more quick questions.
Listen,
if you're good for them.
Hi, sweetie.
Hello.
I have a question for both of you.
Okay.
It's kind of a character versus character.
Oh, no.
So, if there had ever been a Biker Mice from Mars and SWAT Cats crossover.
Oh, SWAT Cats. I love SWAT Cats.
Do you remember the character Hard Drive?
I do vaguely, yes.
Because your dad voiced
Right.
that character. Well, anyway. If the Biker Mice had ever met the SWAT Cats and teamed up with them, Throttle versus Hard Drive, who do you think would win?
That's hard because I remember, I know Throttle in and out, but I don't remember Hard Drive as much.
Yeah.
So
Hard Drive, he was a little more in your face, right? Because Throttle's a little more badass like this. And it's when, honey, remember when you found out that I was Throttle? Hi, honey.
Yeah.
Yeah. She thought, wow, that sounds like guy's a macho cool guy. You are a good actor. That little, you're looking for Hard Drive?
I'm going to look up, yeah.
Okay, what's your
yeah.
other question? Because he'll find Hard Drive.
Hard Drive versus Throttle, who would win in a fight?
Oh, well, Throttle's like Indiana Jones. He's got a gun. So, boom, he's finished. That's a really good question.
I mean, based on appearance alone, I feel like Throttle takes this easily.
Yeah, Hard Drive looks a little too cosplayish for me.
I guess Hard Drive has the tech. He's got a gun that he's got like a beam gun, which I guess maybe, but Throttle's just... He just gets up in your face, and he could bike out of any beam gun shots or anything.
That's
He's
right.
faster. I think this has to go to Throttle. I just think it does. Yeah.
See, and that was a definitive answer from.
Yeah. Although to be fair, I don't know Hard Drive that well, so
This is from a guy with my DNA, so he would know. Do we have? Yes.
We have our final question over here. No pressure.
Hi.
What is both of your guys' favorite games, and what game do you guys like to play together?
Great. Well,
that's a good one.
Let me first answer that. Ash is the expert. We hardly played any games together because he beat the bejesus out of me.
Not always.
Well, when you let me win.
No, because...
And that's not hyperbole. He'd be going, oh, Jesus.
Well, not always, because back...
you won. Okay, I'm going to go get a sandwich,
Not always, though, because back in the Sega Genesis days, we played NHL 93 together a lot. And I don't even play sports games, but that was like one of the very few sports games I ever got into. And you were pretty good at it, from what I remember. And we also played a lot of Star Fox 64 together. Yeah.
But you still killed me. And then there was one where they had a parachute all the time.
Pilot Wings.
Pilot
Wings. Yeah, you played that a lot for Super Nintendo. Yeah.
Anyway, so this guy is a total expert. And what are you have a favorite game?
Oh, definitely. So my clear favorite game, it's and this is me just being old, but it's a 1994 Super Nintendo game called Chrono Trigger. My favorite game of all time. I still remember the night I got it. It was such a formative experience for me, and a game that I'd like to play with them, which we might do on a GVG stream upcoming, is Shredder's Revenge. Of course, I want to play.
Yeah. Did we talk about that earlier today?
We did a little bit, and actually, like I said, we were waiting for that DLC announcement that I knew about since January, but it finally happened. So the composer wants to use that as a vehicle to kind of have an excuse to get everybody together and do a stream.
Do another one. Yeah, I would love that. But you told me, I already mention this? I'm so old, that it sold over 1 million units, right?
Yeah, and within its first week or something.
Really?
2 weeks, it was really... It's doing really, really well. And Chrono Trigger, but for something more recent, in my top 3, The Legend of Zelda The Wind Waker is my 3rd favorite game of all time. So something a little bit more recent. So yeah, thank you for the question.
All right, that was awesome. Thank you guys so much.
Thank you so much.
A big round of applause.
Thank you.
We
if you didn't get to your question, please visit them at their table. I'm sure they'll be happy to answer those questions there.
Back down. Ash has got a bunch of flyers to talk that you guys can have to.
Yeah, I brought flyers to sign, and it has all of our information about GVG.
Good Vibes Gaming, and we're going to be back down at our table on the main floor. And I think we're here till 8 tonight or something like that.
Something like that, yeah.
Yeah, I think so.
Well,
thank you all so much.
Thank you.
All right,
guys.
one more round of applause. Ash and Rob Paulsen.
So, what are we going to do tonight, Brain?
Same thing we do every night, Pinky. Watch Fandom Spotlite videos and then take over the world.
Hey, God, that's great! And maybe we should tell them all to have fun?
And follow their fandom. Then bow before my genius.